Hey everybody, welcome back to Stack and Solo. Your local bullion conversational, primarily silver YouTube channel. Very local, very small, and running strong. So this week we are talking junk silver. Episode 3 is all about junk silver. What is it? What you can look for, the prices of it, or at least my opinion of the prices. And I don't know if maybe we can see if there's something you guys might like. Or maybe you could teach me something, fill in the blanks that I have, because it's not exactly constitutional stuff isn't exactly my forte, especially pre 64. But we'll get into it. But beforehand, I just want to thank everybody for all of the support that I've seen on the channel, from the subscribers to the likes to the views and the comments, everything all around. It's been beyond tenfold what I was hoping to get total. And to see it in the first 2 weeks has been incredible. And it's really just I've seen it through over the past few years through me buying and just the conversations that I've had with people but to firsthand experience the welcomeness of the community and honestly the knowledge that everybody has and is willing to share. It's just great to see, and it's great to be a part of. So I appreciate everybody, and yeah, I hope that Stack and Solo can keep growing, and hopefully you guys keep following along. uh, if there's anything I mess up with, feel free to just kind of correct me in the comments. I don't know anything. I don't know most of the things. um, but what I do know, I'm here to discuss and I'm here to share, and hopefully you guys can just fill in any blanks and we'll have a good time. So thank you. Now into this episode 3, junk silver. First, I want to appreciate, or I want to shout out and say thank you to the subscriber that had commented to do an episode on junk silver. I'm assuming it's because you yourself are a collector, and I started collecting with this stuff, so I had a good little bank that I could pull from, and luckily was able to find a few other pieces to piece this episode together, and hopefully be able to go over everything that you might be wanting to know. Maybe some things that you didn't know about the pieces themselves, but more specifically, give you, as you asked, give you an accurate value on what the current market price is for these types of pieces, at least in the common circulation, the junk form. So to start, what is junk silver? Uh, Pretty simply, it's just used or circulated currency, U.S. currency. That's what we consider. That's what it's considered. That's just kind of what I've picked up on it to be, I guess. It's all pre 64, pre 1964 U.S. coins, the dimes, the half dollars, the quarters. They're all 90% silver. Even like whatever their weight is, 90% of it is 3/9 fine silver, and everybody knows you can't beat that government-backed silver. So good quality and worth collecting, and bajillion coins that were minted in it. So now it's just kind of shifting through and finding it now that we're 60 years past that point of that being an option or being common. But yeah, so it's just circulated coins. That's pretty much it. That's what I consider it to be. We'll get into it later. Some people may consider Morgans and peace dollars because they're circulated to be junk silver. I personally don't. And whenever we get to that portion of the episode, I'll just kind of discuss my points on it. And if I'm wrong, please let me know, because I definitely don't want to keep having the wrong idea whenever it comes to this stuff, especially if I continue buying. So yeah, so we'll just start with the smallest, the dimes. So dimes are like 3 grams total weight. So 90% they're 2 grams to something, um, of silver. So in my opinion, it doesn't matter which one it is. If they're circulated, if they're in rough design, you can pretty much go silver price and then multiply it by whatever the premium is that's associated to the specific coin, the specific junk silver, and then you just you just can continue that across the board. So you got your 3 grams for your dimes. Your next ones go your quarters, where you have like 6 grams, maybe a little over 6 grams is the weight of a quarter. I was thinking that it's like 1/5 of an ounce, around 1/5 of a troy ounce. But that would be a little less technically. But either way, so 90%, you got yourself a good little weight of silver within that. And you've got your Liberty quarters. You got your what all quarters are there? You got your regular Washingtons, your standing Liberties, and then a Barber. Is there a Barber? I think that's what my Barber is. But either way, you got your quarters. That's what there's silver in there. There's 6 grams times 90%. So you got to either right at 6 grams or just under, probably 5.8 grams of silver in it. And then next up, you got your half dollars, and then those can go in a variety. Half dollars are my personal favorite in terms of the junk silver. But it's not just because of the weight, it's also because of the design. I just love a walking Liberty. I think it's beautiful. But then you got your Franklin, and then you have your Kennedys as well, obviously, and we'll get into that here in a second. But your half dollars are like 12 grams, 11 grams, something around that. So 90% of that, you're looking at either way over 10 grams of silver. So that's pretty. I mean, looking at a third of an ounce just in the junk half dollars, that's pretty good. If my math's correct, I don't know. But we'll just get right into this, keep it rolling, and show you guys what we got and present it. All right, everybody. So I got my my display of junk silver here. I got my dimes on my bottom. Obviously going, I got my dates oldest to newest, and then oddly enough, it's also kind of best condition to worst condition. But it also almost makes sense if you just look at the age. And so yeah, and then we've got our quarters right here, going straight over. We are going from 1925 to a 50. And then we've got our half dollars, and these right here I'm really excited because we have a really good variety. We've got all three types that we'll get to discuss and kind of go over. And I don't know. Let me know which one of these like you guys find most desirable. Like I said, I like the half dollars, but that's just because of the personal designs. Another favorite is just right off the top is that Barber. Just looking at it, it's just a beautiful looking coin, and to still have the impression that it has on it is nice, not worn down too far. But yeah, let's just get started here. So we'll get started right into the dimes. So as we said, the dimes are just over 3 grams. So we're looking at just over 2 grams of silver basically inside of each dime. I checked the price of silver today at just around 3 o'clock. It was at 35.50 something, or 36.52, I believe it was, somewhere around there. So you're looking just off spot already over $1. It's still at over $1 a gram. So just weight wise itself, you're looking at $3 there, but you have to add the premium that it's a coin. And going off of everything that I've seen sold, which has been a lot in a retail format, but also in auction format, and then looking at the prices, I think that if you're looking to buy dimes themselves in just about any shape, I I personally wouldn't want to pay over about $7 for them. It's ironic that that's on there. First of all, whenever you find this stuff, you can't always trust these people. A lot of times they just throw it in there and they write stuff because not everybody knows. But I would say around $7 for the dime would be about at the max that I would want to pay, and it would have to be on a piece that I'm really enjoying. So if we're able to look here, I'll pull out my glove just so I can bring it up for um, everybody to see up close. But Why $7? Well, you're already looking at you're doubling the price of the spot price of it. And though, like I said, unless you're buying a price that or a piece that is specific for its make or its date or its condition, or it's specifically graded, I wouldn't really want to go over that. And I don't really think many places would have you over that. I feel like 5 to 7 is probably a fair for a dime of any sort, a barber all the way up to your Mercury dimes, and then over to your what we currently still have going on, which I'm just going to show. Beautiful 1964, wonderful condition, both front and back. I was very psyched to get that. That's definitely my cleanest 90% that I have, non-graded, that is. Just very cool. But it's just I don't see the value really being there. Just because you'd have to melt it down, and then on top of that, you got to be a collector. So junk silver itself, I say $7 for dimes. Keep it to that. My recommendation though is that no matter what you're looking at, try to buy in bulk with this stuff. Try to buy in bulk. So you can see that this right here is obviously, it says poor. It is a poor conditioned dime. I mean, flat, been worn so much that that thing could slide on ice without a doubt. And now me, I wouldn't pay over $5 for that one, but I would be willing to pay $7 for this one. And you can tell that there is a 20-year age difference. That age difference has done a number on the wear and tear of it, and then the kept condition of it. I mean, you can't even. I think it's funny that they call this an S. You can't even tell, or I couldn't even tell that it's an S. Very rough shape, but either way, we've got 2 grams of silver in there. So you know, I could see people charging $6 to $7 a piece for it, but for me having all 5, I could also see a lot selling all of them to me for $25, for $20, just to kind of make the deal. But with that being said, my knowledge whenever I began stacking silver, even though it was only a few years ago, it was much cheaper. So yes, so we've got our barber dimes right there, and then we can move over to the beautiful Mercury dime. Still in pretty good condition all around. Let's see if I can get it to focus. It's not doing too bad. Now, I would like to tell you guys the exact dates that all of these went in and came out, but I just truly don't know them. Junk silver, like I said, is not my forte. It's not where my stuff's at. What I do know about it is pretty much just the silver aspect of it and what I would be okay with buying it for, which is what I'm giving this as. This should throw this in a PSA. My recommendations are at all probably not correct, but they are. I am saying it based off of some knowledge. So do your own research, as I try to put in always. Do your own research before you buy. But $5 to $7. Moving up, we've got our quarters. Now, our quarters, as we said, were 6 grams a piece, just over 6 grams of silver a piece in each of these. Doesn't matter which you have, which they're all beautiful. You can see here, nice 1950, nice 1945. We've got our 1915 and then a 1925. Standing Liberty. I do not know why, and it's really upsetting me, but I'm blanking on the name of this quarter. Hopefully somebody can remind me of that. Look at that. I just love that. That right there is awesome. Looks beautiful to me. So we've got 6 grams of, just over 6 grams of silver inside of each of these at $35 a piece right now, or $36 an ounce. Oh, I feel like, yeah, you could still expect to double. I'd say $12 to $15 for any junk silver quarters. Uh, is probably what you could see to pay. I would try to pay somewhere around 10, just because although there is just because there is only 6 grams of silver, and I'm pretty sure that you can find graded ones that are 90 percenters for a pretty relative price as well. I actually have one that I'll bring out here in a little bit, just to show the comparison between a 50 and a 64 that's graded. But I would say $12 to $15 would probably be safe in terms of understanding the value for it. And going off of that is that if you're paying $15 for this and it's only $35 an ounce, but this has 6 grams in it compared to your ounce, usually a troy ounce, that has over 31 in it, you're getting about a fifth of it, but you're paying nearly half the price for it. So the premium is up a good bit on these either way. So unless it's a piece that you really like, I would try to keep between $10 and $12 personally for all quarters. It doesn't matter the make. If they're circulated and they're actually selling them as quote unquote junk silver, that's definitely what I would look at. And within knowing that, that's whenever I would look and I would just say, well, they all weigh the same. You know that they all are or supposedly weigh the same or way close to the same. You know that they're all 90% silver. So at that's when you can pretty much pick if they have options and go with your designs. Do you like your standing liberty? Do you like forget that again, that's blanking on me, I'm upsetting that. Do you like the Washington, the traditional quarters? And if you do like them in general, get you a collection, get a whole suite of them. And then you can start getting into the mints as well. Your San Francisco, Denver, West Point, Philadelphia. You can really start getting into all of them depending on the times that they had opened and which coins you're chasing. But overall, that's what I would do for the quarters. I would always check condition and year. That's the biggest thing whenever you're looking at paying for this stuff. Condition and year, and then understand that the weight of the silver is the weight of the silver. So if they're selling it to you for the silver aspect, that's what it's got to be from. And if they're selling it to you from a coin aspect, then that's maybe where the premium's coming from. We'll just keep moving down, and here we have up at the top right there, we've got ourselves our half dollars. So half dollars are fun, one because of the weight, but also because I feel like at some point in time everybody had received half dollars, collected half dollars. You've done something with them. More than likely, it was this one right here. It was a Kennedy. Um, I would say it was a Kennedy because that's what most of the ones that I always had were. But this one we can kind of see is not in too bad of condition. I mean, for being 40 years old, but definitely still circulated, definitely still used to a certain point, and then is just thrown and stuck in something because it's got gunk all over it. But I would say these are the ones that most of us had collected and received as gifts or just gotten change at random times, because that's what we all lived through. For the most of us, I feel like a lot of them had been collected. Then you have your Franklins right here. Franklins are one of my favorites, and I'll show it to you for a second. I don't remember the exact years that they started being minted, but obviously the Kennedys started being minted in the early 60s, so the reason for that. Now, I will go ahead and note before I move on from the Kennedys that I'd said it earlier. There are a few years, I think it's 65 to 70, that the Kennedy half dollars are actually also are 40% silver, made of 40% silver. So you could take that weight of whatever the half dollar weighs, whether it's 11 grams or 12 grams, um, and divide it by 10 and then multiply it by 4, then you get your base price for or your base amount of silver that's inside of it. So you do get value in your 40% as well. They're just not as sought after, and I don't know, I don't really come across them too often, but I would say that it's because at this point most of them have been collected. But to go back to the Franklin half is to me, it's just a really cool design. But my favorite thing about it and why I think so is actually just the standing eagle that they have in there. I'll see if I can let me see if I can bring this in. So that eagle right there, I just think is so sick, and it's such a nice little extra indicator of American pride and just, you know, what our coins and what our country is offering. Freaking a nice $50 that has more silver in it that the coin itself is worth. Beautiful, beautiful. So that's just a little touch that I like. So this is 1950. Obviously, it's very worn down, or 52, very worn. Uh, he's very smooth. His head is as smooth as his hair. So he's seen better days. Moving on down, we have got our Walking Liberty $50. See if I can get that to focus. Sorry about that. This is a 35. Very worn down in terms of the eagle, just because those are the things that are impress the most, and just wear and tear, putting them in your pockets, throwing them on tables, just really wears them down to where there's very little left, but you still get the indention. And that's, as I said, I'm a huge ASE fan, so the Walking Liberty, that right there, this is just a beautiful design. I love the sun in the background. uh I have a design that I've done one of these days when I put out my stickers for the channel. I have a ASE design that I designed with my logo and stuff in there. So very excited for that and for you guys to see it. And then moving on down, we have my worst $50, which also makes sense because it's 117 years old. My 1917 half. Very worn, very flat, not fun to show, but it's junk silver, so that's what we have to offer. That's what you get with junk silver is it's not pretty, but the weight's there, and what I enjoy about it is usually the history. You can't really beat that stuff. Whether I mean, look at all this. We've got technically only three types of coins here, but one, two, three, four, five, six, seven, eight, nine different designs just within these three types of coins, and those nine designs span a history of over 140 years. So a lot of really cool things that if you're into junk silver, you can learn about it and then kind of pursue, and then you know make more people knowledgeable on, because that's the coolest thing about it, is sharing your passion. Um, so the $50, just putting that out there with going back to the price. 11 grams of silver, we'll say, about for these pre 64s, all of them, with them being in used condition. That's what I'm going off of, is a generalized used condition on every coin that we have here. Um, so we're going to go off the weight, and then we're going to multiply the weight by probably 1.5 because of the age of them, but also it's a higher quality. Like, you're not getting a fifth, you're getting a third of an ounce or more. So for me, I would multiply it by 1.5 probably, and just go and say that, I don't know, anywhere from 15 to $17, $16, $15 to $16 is probably a good place to buy these raw in hand. If you're gonna buy them and if you like them, do whatever you want. I don't know, and I've definitely, I pay for the stuff that I enjoy, because it's the whole point of it. But any more than that, and you'd almost be better off with trying to bulk up with some silver, with some quarters, or with your dimes, because if your goal is to eventually resell it, uh, I mean, I feel like you're gonna lose more by investing more. If you're putting $20 into 10, 11 grams of silver, and it's being a circulated coin, you're gonna have to find specific people to buy that whenever you go to sell it. Or if you try to sell it in just an open market, a pawn shop or a regular coin shop, the price that you're gonna get is definitely nothing close to what you paid. Unless you hold on to it for a ridiculous amount of time. But even with that, it's not going to be what you think, and it's because this isn't like constitutional that is graded and kept nice and everything. It takes junk collectors that want to buy this stuff, or silver collectors that are buying it wholesale or buying it in bulk. Kind of like I said possibly do with the dimes there. So I just don't see it being worth it. Anything over $15, $16, unless it's in fantastic condition, I'd pay $20 for a Walking Liberty all day long. All day long. If I could get, yeah, if I could get just a raw one like that in pretty decent condition, I'd pay $20 for that. But with the current market price being at $36 on average for an ounce of silver, it's up, and that's pretty good. But I don't know if it's good enough to warrant junk silver to be inflated to the price that some regular silver is, or some regular bullion is at this point. And so to kind of show what I'm meaning with that, the reason why I'm not going to pay over $10 for this quarter or $12 for this quarter right here is because, though this is a 1950 and it's in beautiful condition, as you can see, I mean, as beautiful as you would expect for 75 years old. This is a 64 PF70 because you can rate it, or you can read it. Beautiful coin, nearly excellent condition, nearly perfect condition. And this one right here, I feel like you could get retail. I don't remember what I got. I probably got it for a good deal. But I feel like you could buy it for $25, I bet. In this grade, at this grade, you could find it. eBay, I will say eBay can be overpriced at times because independent sellers will upcharge or set bid prices. And they can kind of flood the market because their prices can be reviewed on Google, or will be your first searches on Google. And a lot of people will take those searches as being the actual price value, and that is not so. So, as I always say, do proper research with some real dealers before you go and purchase this stuff. Because why would you want to pay $15 or more for this if they're going to upcharge you, when you could get this for just slightly more? Or you could buy this and then for twice the money get this. That makes more sense to me. I'm paying twice the money and I'm getting twice the coin. Absolutely, I am. From the condition to the grade to, I mean, the security of it being graded is the best thing. But that's a beautiful coin. And that's pretty much my conclusion of junk silver, everybody. As I said, I don't know a whole lot. I kind of gave you just the overall values. So just to run over them again, we have our dimes right there. Our dimes are at 2 to 3 grams, or just over 2 grams of silver. So we're gonna want to stay about $5 to $7 for a dime, probably is what I would aim for. Your quarters, you're looking at a little more weight. So with the weight being at whatever I said it was, 6 grams or whatever, let's try to stay somewhere around $10 to $12 with them if they're circulated condition. Obviously, if they're better condition, like I'd pay 14 for that barber, or for this one right here, whichever one that is. I think that is a barber. I don't know why I forgot that name. For that. But for the most part, $10 to $12 just based off the weight. And yeah, just know the weight of the coins and the condition. And if you're willing to pay a little bit more of the premium, then obviously that's on you. And then going up, we've got our half dollars sitting at what, 10, 11 grams of silver right there. Let's try to stay within, if they're in these conditions, these very used, not at all collecting, but stacking type of conditions pretty much. I would say around $15 to $17. You can pay 18 to 20 if they're really nice. It would definitely make sense to pay 20 if they're really nice. I could see it going up more, but as I just showed you, if you can buy the quarter graded for 25, I would say I wouldn't pay over $22 for a half, no matter what. If it's circulated and if it's really considered, junk silver, then I wouldn't worry about it one bit. Now, at the beginning of the episode, I was kind of talking to you guys about a few separate things. And I had said, now, there are the Morgans and the Peace dollars that people consider junk silver. And I wanted to just go over that real quickly and the reasons why I do not consider them junk silver myself. So here we have one, the most common Morgans that I have seen myself, a 1921 in terms of the older ones. I got it graded because I'm just really big into graded coins, so I had to make sure that I had a graded one. These aren't junk silver. These are these are just not junk silver. These are not circulated coins. No, in my opinion, they shouldn't be considered junk silver. One, because of the weight, but also because of the value of them. These hold the same premium values as as a 2013 American Silver Eagle that's just out. And looking at graded wise, it's the same value. I'm not sure what that AU 58 is going for, but I'm sure it's between $40 and $55 right now. So with that being, that's pretty good for an ounce being graded. And it's not in terrible condition, but it's not in fantastic condition. I'm not a super old coin collector, but I had to have these because I love American coins, and having at least one of these in one of each of these in my collection just kind of established that for me. So why are these not junk silver? Um, the biggest thing is just the premium value that's on them. These aren't circulated, and whenever they were circulated, and when they are circulated, you're still going into the store and you're still paying a really high value on them. Um, it's just I guess more than anything, because like I said, I don't have the experience on it. It's just the experience with everything else that I have dealt with and have seen. I've never seen bullion dealers or collectors consider these two coins to be junk silver in any way. They are very sought after, very collectible in themselves. There are people that spend their entire lives just collecting these. The way that I do with ASEs, I've seen it with Morgans over and over. Peace dollars less common, but it's just because I don't know a whole lot of collectors. But they're beautiful coins. You can't beat them. And I mean, with them bringing them back out in 19 or back in 2022, 2023, whenever they brought these back out, I mean, they killed the market. The premiums on these are still up retarded. If you buy a graded one, um, it's ridiculous. If you buy one of the graded ones, that's like from PCGS or whatever, and you're buying the duplicates of them, you're paying like over $100 a coin. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So definitely not junk silver. I'm sure there's multiple reasons why. Not coming to my head right now, just because I'm just blanking on it. And that's just what it is. If you guys happen to know, please let me know in the comments. Like, what's your opinion on? Do you think they're junk silver? Why or why don't you? Um, and Yeah, which one's your favorite between these ones? Let's say if they were, which one's your favorite, the Peace or the Morgan? Do you have a favorite that you have in your whole collection, or is there something that is there one that you're kind of eyeing that one day you're gonna get? It's just hard to grab, so you haven't been able to jump on it at the time. Uh, Let me know. I'm definitely interested, and I'd love to respond to you guys and find out what you guys have in your stacks. But yeah, that'll do it for this episode of Stack and Solo. I appreciate you guys being here. Uh, Junk silver, it's a cool thing to collect. It's got weight, it's got value, and there are definitely people that love it out there. I appreciate the subscriber. Thank you again for throwing this idea out there. Um, Hopefully, I was able to give you a little bit of knowledge on it. Just remember, it's the weight that matters that's within the silver, and then the condition of the coin and the mint years. Really, those are the biggest things to look at. But if you're collecting and you like it, as long as you don't feel like you're getting ripped off, you're not getting ripped off, because collecting and stacking are totally different things. We just got to always remember that. Collecting is collecting is pieces that you very much enjoy, and stacking is doing something for an entirely different purpose. Uh, Man, been great. I appreciate you guys. Hopefully this episode, I know it was a little rough one. Junk silver just is not my forte. It's okay. It's okay. I got through it, and I'm really glad I did, because I was able to just confirmed to myself that I knew a little bit about it. So heck yeah, looking forward to coming back with episode 4. Just gonna build off of the last one and then this one, and I figure I'll just do a good overview 20-30 minute episode on premium silver. What is premiums? What are the difference in the premiums? What can you expect to pay? And then I'll go through, I don't know, 5-10 different pieces that I have that hold different premium values, and maybe we can talk about them and get a little feedback from you guys and see how we go. Once again, appreciate you guys for being here. Appreciate you watching. Like, subscribe, comment, do everything you need to. Yeah, we'll look forward to next week. As always, stacking solo isn't stacking alone. See you guys later.